What's up, fam? Hope everybody's doing well. It's the day after the fight. Um, I would normally sit at the computer, record, do all the pretty intros and stuff like that and get into the fight, but I'm just gonna go smack into it. The undercards were pretty good. I can't remember any of the boxers' names that were on the undercard, but they were pretty good. I feel like I got my money's worth for what they charged. But let's just go straight into the fight. As I stated in my previous video, excuse me, let me turn this down. As I stated in the video that I did Friday, I definitely wanted to see Wilder win. But I had to be real about, that expectation. Because again, Tyson Fury is, I've never seen a fighter like him before. We have seen fighters who could go the distance, like Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward trilogy. Like, these guys went the distance. You have to factor in weight, because these guys were heavyweights. But Tyson Fury, just off of those other two fights that they had before, just struck me as, you gonna have to come from someplace you ain't never been, break out your elephant gun and pop one in between his eyes, and if you get up, you might have to do it again kind of guy. And last night, it definitely showed that, he's a different kind of guy in that ring. Just like everybody else, I'ma salute Deontay Wilder because he came in with the intent on winning. But I went on Twitter, especially late last night, so I'm still recovering from that. But I did go on Twitter, and I said, his cardio killed him. The fight was over, I think, after the fourth round, where you could just tell that, his lungs and air were not getting along together. He had lost the fight. His legs didn't look good. They didn't look stable. They didn't look like they could hold him up. And then you factor in the shots that he was taking, on top of Fury leaning on him. And they have said before, sometimes when boxers do that, the objective is to force air out of the person that's being leaned on, so that, when they finally stand back up, they don't have any gas, for that next phase, that next few shots or whatever. And it proved, to be just that. I did ask the question, did you think that the weight that Wilder was carrying played a factor in the stamina, in the cardio? Like, if Tyson Fury on a regular walks around at that size with most of that weight on him, then, he's definitely used to carrying that. And his cardio should be really built for that specific carry. Where with Deontay Wilder, what is his normal regular weight? And did this particular weight, that he was carrying, did it have or play a factor in the longer rounds? But it was a good fight. I heard one of the commentators compare it to the Gatti Ward trilogy. Wouldn't go as far as saying that, it definitely ranks up there of, with some of the trilogies that kept people standing on the edge of their seat from the beginning of the match to the end. I know that I kind of got excited a few times myself. It was a pretty good fight. It was definitely a pretty good fight, and definitely worth the price that they charge. I think that, the boxing matches should go back to those prices so most of us can actually enjoy it. Like, I'll never pay $99 for another boxing match that just turned out to be an exhibition match. It's just not going to do that no more. Moving forward, I'll pose the question to you. Should we see a fourth one? Me personally, nah. I think, you know, one loss was bad. And, you know, as I said in the previous video, a boxer's first loss is always going to be there haunting them when they get back in the ring. This is 2 losses and kind of like 2.5 losses. And that can do something to a man's ego, definitely. I wouldn't want to see a 4th fight. I think that the idea of a Joshua Wilder or Fury Joshua fight should be looked into, should be researched, should be investigated. Maybe if you put Wilder back on track to fight some other opponents of a smaller body build, more like his body build or something like that, get him, start him there, and then bring him back up. Maybe he might be able to beat Fury a couple years from now. But again, I wouldn't want to see a 4th fight. Tyson Fury, good fight, man. Good fight. And at the end of it, you're singing, okay, but just your sportsmanship, I salute you. Wilder, brother, you came in with great intent. You know, you did not quit. You did not give up. You went out on your shield. Salute for that. Don't take it hard. I understand as an athlete, no one wants to lose, but you know in life, there's always a first and there's always a second. And you did good. You did not disappoint. You did not let your fans down. Take time, recuperate, and just think about, you know, your next step. But don't go for the 4th fight. Don't immediately go for the 4th fight. Get a couple warm-ups before you head back, and definitely work on your cardio, homie. You gotta do that. That's just my 2 cents. It's your man. Ring around the world. We might be back.